This is a 13 by 5 closure, frontal, sorry. So I just took it out the packaging. And I'm going to show you step by step how to bleach your knots. It's really a super duper easy process. You don't have to like put a lot of thought into it. You know, the only thing that you really do have to watch for is just making sure that you don't let it get too light or bleed through into the hair from the net, from the lace. But other than that, it's super duper easy. Absolutely. So this is the developer. I use 40 volume developer. And this is the actual lightener, the powder. Take about a scoop or two. For this kind of frontal, because it's pretty big, you probably want to use like 3 scoops because you really want to make it nice and thick. You want to make it like a paste, like a toothpaste. And always make sure you have your gloves, because trust me, you will regret it if you don't put them on. It'll get on your hands and it starts to really make them feel like burn. It'll start to burn. Let's see here. It's starting to look a little bit more watery than what I want it to be. And I want it to be nice and pasty again, like I said, so that it doesn't bleed. Because once it gets into the hair, it's like really hard to change it back to the 1B brown color. So we want to make sure that you do a good job of just making the formula real nice and thick. So I'll go back in and probably use like a half more scoop. Now some people, I see that they'll use like a fork, not a fork, like more like a spoon or a knife to kind of spread it or to mix it. I really prefer my bowl and my brush. That's just the way I've always done it, and it works well for me. Or you can also use like a tongue depressor, whatever your preference is. So now it's like super duper pasty. It's almost like cake frosting, and that's the consistency that you want to keep. So I'm gonna go right on and start spreading it. But remember, when you spread it, don't drag the brush across it. Kind of just blot it. Because when you drag the brush across, you have a higher chance of it getting through the lace. And this is our exotic deep wave. It's okay if you take your time. No rush. You want to get it to the top of where the hairline will start. So you don't really need to get all that extra lace because you're going to cut that off anyway. Bleaching the knots is a great tool that a lot of people use in order to get the lace to look more realistic, more like a scalp. Right now, this is a light brown color, and it may work well for a lot of skin tones, a lot of African American skin tones. But despite that, I always like to lighten it up just a little bit, and I kind of gauge it. I watch it. really thick. It's hard to get it to stay on some parts without trick. Just a little bit more. I'll put it up a little higher in the hairline. Spread it across the top layer. But be sure not to drag it into the lace. To get all the lace. So I'll show you up close and personal. This is how you kind of want it to look. You want it to be across the full lace. Now it doesn't have to be on the top, like I said, because you're gonna cut that off once you put it on your head. And that's fine. Now what I'll do is, I'm gonna leave this on for about 35 to 40 minutes and I'll gauge it. So I'll just keep watching it and watching it and watching it. And I can see from here if it's lightening up. I can look between the rows to see if it's any lighter. And then once it gets to a lighter brown color, I want to go ahead and take it off. Now it's sat on for 45 minutes, so it's starting to kind of fall off a little bit. But I just bleached the knots and now I'm just going to wash it out. What I use is the Pantene shampoo, the conditioner, go in some hot water or warm water. Finished product. So as you see, You definitely see the difference in the top of the lace versus the one that I bleached. So look how realistic that looks on my skin tone. That looks super realistic versus the top of this lace here that wasn't bleached. I'll give you a better idea. And you see none of the bleach bled into the hair. It literally looks just like skin tone. It looks just like my skin tone. It looks just like my scalp. Versus this. That was lace that wasn't bleached. And even if it's wet, it does blend a little bit, but not much. So this is non-bleached knots versus bleached knots. And it blends in perfectly with my skin. Perfect, 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 perfect. All right, guys. This is the finished product of bleach knots. Look how amazing that looks. It literally blends right in with my skin. I'm telling you, if your frontal or your closure don't blend with your skin, you're shopping with the wrong brand. This is the unbleached. This is the bleach knots. Beautiful.